What's up, people? Welcome back to another Saturday Sit Down with me. I'm Dean Gornitis. This week, I read and will now review for you The Sun Also Rises by Ernest Hemingway. And I don't have a copy of it to show you because I read it on my Kindle. Blasphemous! Yeah, I got a Kindle and I like it. Anyways, for all you out there going out to see The Hangover Part 2, bad news, it's a ripoff because the original Hangover was written back in the 1920s by Ernest Hemingway. It was called The Sun Also Rises. This book, loaded with alcohol. Every page. Maybe not every page, but pretty close to every page. They're having a drink, and usually more than one drink. If you've read The Great Gatsby and you enjoyed it, you're in for a real treat here if you haven't gotten around to The Sun Also Rises. I didn't realize how similar they were. One aspect of how similar they were, the alcohol consumption. Except I think there was actually even more in this one. 20 to 30 drinks a day, probably, on their trip for each character. When I was reading it, I was like, wow, this really feels like The Great Gatsby, and I was pretty happy because I kind of like The Great Gatsby. I think it's kind of cool. Then, after a little Wikipedia research, the people's knowledge, found out that F. Scott Fitzgerald and Ernest Hemingway, I always stumble on people's names, were really good friends, and Ernest Hemingway actually got some writing tips from Fitzgerald, which kind of makes a lot of sense here after reading this book. Hemingway's writing style, if you've ever read, say, The Old Man and the Sea, very precise, very to the point. There's a quote that runs around on Twitter if you follow book readers on Twitter and stuff. It's always around about something about how Hemingway said if you see an adjective to kill it. That's the kind of writing he did. Very sparse, bam, 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 to the point. I did this, I did that, I did this, we did that. I mean, he was a reporter, like a journalist, and that easily bled over into his writing. It's just apparent. But a lot of that fluff that makes books feel like books and not like real life is gone. I guess you'd like a little plot summary without me spoiling anything. This book is about a trip of a few Americans and a few foreigners from across Europe. They start in Paris and then they take a trip to Spain for the running of the bulls at Pamplona and the subsequent bullfighting that happens afterwards. Love affairs, especially with the lovely Brett, also known as Lady Ashley, who in this book I believe sees 4 characters, including the main character of Jake. I can't even say a whole lot happens. You kind of just follow them along on their trip through Spain. But the cool thing is you feel like you're on vacation with them. And who doesn't want to take a vacation to Spain to see the bullfights? You can always close your eyes once you get to the fight. When I was finished, I just wanted more. And to me, that's the best thing that a book can do to a reader, is leave them wanting more without even really having a cliffhanger. The story wraps up and it ends, and I miss it. I miss Jake and I miss Brett. I don't really miss Robert Kahn. He's kind of a loser. You'll see if you decide to read it. But I just miss this group of friends, and I wish I was one of their friends too. I'm not intending. I will be reading this book again within a couple years. I just really like it. So I'm giving it a straight up 9. I hope you don't think I'm too liberal with my scores, but I am reviewing classics, and in most cases they tend to be classics for a reason. This one lives up to the hype. The Sun Also Rises, Ernest Hemingway. Read it, don't read it. I don't give a damn, but I think it was good. Until next week, Dean Gornitis. I don't have an exit phrase yet.